markets ended another down week on a down note, although we didn't close on the lows of the day. There was a bit of a rally in the last hour, but I don't think it turned the technical picture at all. I think we look very weak going into next week. Looking at the size of the declines this week, the Dow dropped 4.1%, and the Dow is now 16.6% below its record high. Now, the low it got in this bear market was just down 20% before we had that big bear market correction. The S&P 500 was down 4.8% on the week, so a bigger decline, and that index is now down 19.6%, so almost back in that 20% official bear market territory. But I think it's still a bear market, even though the rally in that bear market temporarily lifted it from being down less than 20%. I think by next week, it'll be down more than 20%. We still haven't taken out the June lows. I think that's something that we could do as early as next week. The Russell 2000 also down to 4.5% on the week, but it is solidly in bear market territory, down 27% from its peak. The NASDAQ had an even worse week, down 5.8%, and it's 29% lower than its record high. The Cathie Wood ARK Innovation ETF actually held up a little better than I would have suspected this week, down just 4.5%. But that index is down 73% from its highs. And in my opinion, it still has a long way to go down. I expect at least a 90% decline minimum in the ARK Innovation ETF before it ultimately bottoms out. I always talk about the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust when I talk about ARK. They're very highly correlated, being highly speculative. That trust was down 10.9% on the week. In fact, it closed the week at about a 34% discount to its net asset value. That's about as big a discount as it's had. And I think technically that fund is looking horrible going into next week. And we might see a major blowout in the discount to NAV. And that could portend a much bigger drop in Bitcoin itself. As I'm recording this podcast on Friday afternoon, Bitcoin is back below 20,000. It's trading at about 19,700, well below the about 22,500 or so that it was at when I did my last podcast a few days ago. And I talked about that head fake rally because Bankman-Fried was making an investment in Scaramucci's Skybridge, and everybody piled into Bitcoin. And I said on the podcast that that was a selling opportunity. It was a sucker rally, and the entire rally has already reversed. And the suckers have big losses. And in fact, it wasn't just Bitcoin that the suckers were buying into. The entire bear market rally in stocks was a suckers rally. A lot of people believed that the market had bottomed, that the bear market was already over. I kept saying that it was just getting started. People believed that the market had bottomed, that the bear market was already over. I kept saying that it was just getting started. This is not your typical secular bear market that hangs around for a few months, maybe a year. This is a secular bear market that's going to be here for the entire decade, maybe more. Now, eventually, we may start going up in nominal terms, but not in real terms, because inflation is going to eviscerate the value of U.S. stocks. But I expected all along the U.S. stock market to roll over.
Good morning. 8:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Sunday, September 18th, 2022. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan, as the Michigan Wolverines proved a 3-0 yesterday in a shit show. So, I think we won, 52 or 59-0. So, yesterday what happened, and I went through right before, I could last night, and I said I don't feel comfortable with this being the head. And I showed 3 different charts, and this came up just over 38 cents. But if you look at the USDT chart, it came just over the 38.3, came up to 39.2. And then you look at the USDT chart, the perpetuals chart, and we actually came up almost right to just above the top of the perpetual. So we had a little wick over, but every single chart we've fallen back within the ascending triangle bear flag. So we have tested the bear flag in every single one. The USDT related to BitGet, the USD perpetual futures chart on BitGet, and the USD Ripple XRP chart that's related to US dollars on Binance. Because those are the 3 charts I use. So that's what we've seen last night. We've come straight within And now the decision is did we make a head and shoulders now? Did we make a head and shoulders? Well, first things first, this uptrend is still standing the test of time right now. The short-term one that was put in after we started to extend up on September 16th after we held the 32.46 for the final time. Now we've had this uptrend. The moment we break this, then we can start talking about, okay, now we've got 36.19, and then we can have a nice drop to 33.44. Obviously, the 200-day is always something at 35.35. But we have created ourselves a nice little ascending triangle here to try to bust out. Had we have got to the top side and held support here at 38 cents, that's when you can start talking about moves. But unfortunately for us, we came all the way back down almost to the uptrend that we had created on the 16th. And now we're using this 38 cents as rejection point, unless it breaks back over. Let's take a look at Bitcoin to see exactly what Bitcoin's telling us. Bitcoin looks like ass. Bitcoin put in a head and shoulders, it looks like. And it looks like a big rejection here, a big fake out. If we were to break up, we could get all the way up to that 20,485, which I thought we could. But if this 200-day ends up being the rejection point, it very well could bring us back to 19,398, and then we end up starting over again. Because if we were to do something like this, then it would be something like that. But that's going to be very difficult to hold that if it were to break down. If that breaks down to there, I would anticipate the breakdown, and then obviously now you'd have to come through 19,323. But after that drop, then you would get down to about 18,700. But we are creating a small little uptrend here if we actually pay attention to what's happening that we're going to have to account for. And this is why in time, it might happen today, could happen in the next few hours, but we have to break this little uptrend now. We went down on Bitcoin on September 6, 2022. We hit it again on September 16th, 2022. And now until we break this uptrend, we can't come back down to break 19,323 and then further. So that's what we're looking at right now. Nothing more, nothing less. We have overhead resistance at 20,485. But even closer, the number to be watching this morning in the short time frames is 20,116. If we continue to get rejected on the swing back up at 20,116, we're going to see a nice drop today. And this was nothing more than a fake out. And we'll probably end up finishing off this, what you can see as a head and shoulders pattern that came up and did a little right shoulder like I talked about. And if this breaks down, then you can start to come lower. Now, like I was saying earlier, for XRP with Bitcoin, let's go to this, the USD chart, or USDT chart. Let's go to the USD. So the USD chart, you can see if we were to break over this 20,500 area, then you'd have a nice move up back to 22K. And that's what Peter Schiff was talking about. That's the breakout to 22, and then we had the nice drop. This looks like a head and shoulders pattern that created itself. If it is, this was nothing more than a small right shoulder coming out, extending, because we took the elevator up, got to take the stairs down, have a little volatility, and then eventually it'll break down. But that's why I want to see how we react to that 20,114 approximately at the 200-day. If we can get back over that, well then yeah, we could start something. But right now, XRP, Bitcoin, everything's at a very bad spot. It looks very bearish. But we always have the chance of getting volume and breaking back up. But this is the area. Obviously, I was sleeping last night when it got all the way up to a quick spike up to about 39. See, and that would have been a short liquidation. That's why I didn't put it in yesterday yet, because I wasn't comfortable. I came on and did an update, said I'm not comfortable. It feels like it can spike up again. I showed the USDT and the USDP chart to show it, to form a head. I know in the Telegram, one other person I seen talking about this. Well, I mean, there was more people talking about this, but one person in particular put this exact extension I talked about last night that I was thinking, and they had this theorized pretty damn good. Chris had this nicely. See how he put the head up to come up to about 38.53. It spiked up just a tad bit above that, but he was seeing what I was seeing, and he absolutely 100% called that on the money. So Chris, well done, my friend. And that's something you can get in the Telegram. It's not just me. Chris is in there. We got Steve, we got Valey, we got Webster. We got a lot of people in here that do a lot of stuff. To Duke, Raul, who's in here so far. Trips is a real good one too for the charts. Nick, always putting his input. We've got a few though that are ahead of the charts a lot. Chris and Trips, they understand the charts at another level in this chat. So, but Chris's chart last night too, it helped to validate what I was saying in my own head. And then if anybody else was watching my update last night, then seen him put that as well yesterday, last night into the early AM, that should have helped validate this little move. And he absolutely put out, just like I was talking about, this top. This is what he did. He drew this out before it broke down. That's exactly what I talked about in my update last night as well. So when you see a couple good minds thinking alike, you might want to put some stock into it. So if you want to trade XRP without zero spot fees, so here's the deal. I'm on Uphold. The spot fees were killing me. Had to find another way. So I found BitGet. There's no KYC. There's no VPN required in the USA. And the spot fees are zero. I don't know how long this will last, but at least for the current time in history, to try to buy back, to have $0 spot fees is insane. I was losing hundreds, and when I made $15,000 on XRP, the first time I ever sold crypto last year on Uphold, I lost almost $1,000 selling because of the fees. It was insane. I'd never seen anything like it. And when I was buying it, I didn't realize how much spot fees were actually killing me. But if you buy on BitGet, there's no spot fees. So you buy it, and my suggestion is buy it on BitGet, and what I do is I send it over to Uphold after. Or you can send it over to your wallet, your native exchange that you like best. But why pay the spot fees on a platform like Uphold or another platform when you can get zero spot fees on BitGet? That's my whole pitch. That's why I think you should join it. There's my partnered link right there. And then if you want to donate, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. If you want to join Tom's Army to get the aforementioned Telegram, to get the expanded content that's in the members only section, within the last couple days alone, there's been IOTA, Algo, and HBAR updates. Today we'll likely have an update on XDC in the members only area sometime later this morning or early afternoon. And then if you want to see my expanded content, only do you get all that stuff with Tom's Army, you also get the exclusive emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. So why not join the most exclusive and elusive subscription-based service on YouTube? Oh yeah, in month 1 you get me abducted by aliens. So why would you want to miss out on that? And then if you want to see some expanded content, join me on TikTok. It gets around, for me, just a tiny bit better on the analytics. And yesterday, my video, or from 2 days ago, has 54,000 views. To put it in perspective, how much more people see my videos. I put a little fire out there that I knew nobody would watch. But then 11,000, 20. But the videos get 2 to 3 to 25 times the amount of views as YouTube. And then yesterday, I just got over 2,000 followers. I've had about 1,100 followers in the last 11 hours as well. 2,700 in the last 2 days. No, 2,200 in the last 2 days, follower-wise, on TikTok. Find me there for some expanded content.